This is Cigar Reflections, a podcast on faith, hope, love, and healing, with just a touch on cigars. I'm your host, Dave, aka Graybeard. Welcome. And welcome back. If you've been following along over these past couple of episodes, you'll know that we have been working towards finding, or what I'm really calling now, discovering your identity. If you're just now starting with us on this, I want to encourage you to go back and listen to the prior episodes where we talked about eliminating the validation seeker and what all that means, what it means to be a validation seeker. And then we got into it's okay to not be okay, and where it's okay to just not, be down, and what going through that grieving process means. And that's really important because, especially as man, and that's, the only way that I can, the only angle I can speak from is being a man. We've often taught that it's not okay to be okay, that you have to push through your feelings and fight through them. And that's just not true. And then in episode 3, we actually talked about emotions and tried to get into what some of these emotions mean and how they are. Some of them are surface emotions, especially ones like fear and anger, and how there's usually something core underneath it that is causing you to feel a particular way. And then in the last episode, it was about controlling that which you can. And really in our lives, there's only one thing that we can control is our reactions to things. So I want to encourage you to just pause right now if you're just now starting with us and go back and listen to those episodes. It won't take long. They're anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll be right here for when you come back. Okay, well, welcome back, and I'm glad that you were able to go back and listen to some of those. So we're coming to what I would like to call the culmination of this journey of discovering your identity. And that is so important to us right now in this day and age, is because there's always been these comments of like, well, you don't know me, or you're attacking my identity and how our identity is really is formulated in society now, and it's changed so much from when I was a younger age. And so I started doing some research of what does the world say our identity is. It's really quite scary what the world says our identity is based on. I mean, I'm looking at different aspects here, and one website says the 5 aspects of your identity is gender, ethnicity, personality, religion, values, and hobbies, which that's actually 6. I mean, they can't count. And then you have another one here that says, oh, wait a minute, there's 11 pieces of our identity, and that's race, ethnicity, gender, age, sexual orientation, physical attributes, personality, political affiliations, religious beliefs, and professional identities. And then yet we have another one here, which is from a very well-known website, which I'm not going to list any names here, but this one, it says that the big 8 is our age, race, gender, ability, religion, class, immigration status, and sexual orientation. And all of these is how we discover our identity. I mean, when you think about it, you look at it, okay, my age is going to change. I get older. I mean, I'm 56, and I mean, a couple of months ago, I was 55. So does that mean my identity has changed? And ability, okay, well, being 56 and arthritis is kicking in here, I can't slam dunk a basketball anymore to where I was able to, when I was much, much, much younger, in my teens. Immigration status. Well, if I move to a different country and I'm now an immigrant in that country, does that change my identity? And my sexual orientation isn't going to change, but a lot of people place their identity based upon their sexual orientation. And we're not going to get into that discussion because that's just a whole nother discussion. But religion and class, I mean, where if all of a sudden I go bankrupt and my identity has changed. I mean, do you get where I'm coming from here? We're basing our identity on things that society decides, and society changes. Society changes, and we're actually placing our identity and who we are based upon that. And I just can't fathom, I just can't understand that. But yet it makes sense why so many young people don't know who they are and have just such a hard time understanding who they are, because the world says your identity is based upon this. And then we have so many different personality tests. So, take a personality test and compare our past personality tests to our current ones. And, these anagrams like, oh, I am an ENJF, and whatever that means, or I am this, these 4 particular letters followed by a number, and this is where I build my identity. Or I am extroverted and my identity is based upon that, or I'm introverted and my identity is based upon that. Well, I can tell you that as I've gotten older, more people will call me more introverted than I was when I was younger, because I was much more outgoing, and I'm a little bit more reserved now in my older age. Does that mean my identity has changed? And why am I placing my identity on things that change in life and things that are actually a lot of times considered fleeting moments? It's no wonder our youth are confused. It's no wonder our young adults have such personality conflicts, because they don't know who they are. So it comes down to, what is it that we need to do to discover identity, to find out who we are? What is it that needs to take place there? And there's a few things in life that we long to discover, or we long to feel, we long to understand and realize. And as men, one of those things is we long to be loved. And we long to feel like we have a purpose. And that doesn't really change for women, but you can also add in there that for women, that there's a longing to feel beautiful, to be recognized and be sought after as beautiful. Well, this is where I bring in my faith and Christianity and my relationship with Christ into the equation, into the discussion. Now, I understand that some of my listeners may not believe in God. And while that, saddens my heart, that's just my personal belief. I don't want you to feel any judgment on this, but I want you to listen to what it is that we're saying about this. Just take away the fact that you don't believe in God and just listen to what we're saying here on this. Now, as a Christian, and it took me a long time to come to this realization, because I was a validation seeker and I did not allow my emotions to be recognized. I pushed them down, and I saw that I thought that my emotions were fact. And if I succumbed to my anger, then I was going to be perceived as an angry person. Or if I succumbed to my happiness and not realizing that these emotions change, then I was going to be not taken seriously, because I'm just happy all the time and I wasn't looking at things realistically in life. And if I didn't take control over how my reactions, and I just allowed myself to react to whatever the situation was without processing the information of what was coming in and recognizing whether or not it could damage me, it could affect my finances, it could hurt my family, it would damage my integrity. And I would react to everything in a destructive way. And I allowed the world to define my identity based upon those. Instead of answering the questions that we seek to answer is, am I loved? Yes, I am loved. Christ died on the cross for me. God gave up his son, came to earth to live as we live. And that can't be not denied. Can be proven historically. But he came to live as we lived as humans and to experience life as we experience it as human beings. And then died on the cross. And that's just the ultimate love. Right there. So I want to read you this verse. This is from 1 John 1:3. See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God. And that is what we are. We are children of God. The reason that the world does not know us is that it does not know him. The reason why the world says that our identity is defined based upon gender, ethnicity, personality, religion, values, and hobbies, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, physical attributes, personality, political affiliations, religious beliefs, there it is again, and professional identities, is because the world has turned its back on God. Now you say, now, Greg, wait a minute, hold on a second, because you've mentioned in all three of those the word religion. And isn't that God? Well, no, religion is not God. Christianity is not a religion. Christianity is a relationship, a walk of faith in Christ and who he is and what he has done for us. And you build that relationship up. Religion is man's justification of their interpretation of whatever religious scripts, whether it's the Bible, and I believe in the Bible, but some may not. It's man's interpretation and justification for their own desires, and that's religion. And that's kind of a harsh look, and honestly, that's what it is. Christianity is not a religion. Christianity is a relationship with Christ. And part of that relationship is understanding who our identity is in him, that he does love us. He does think that we're beautiful because he created us. He does have a purpose for us in life. Where is that purpose found? Well, for me, that purpose is found in my faith in the Bible. Now, if you don't believe the Bible and you don't believe in God, then this part isn't going to be, very relevant to you. But the relevancy part that I want to make it is that where I'm placing my identity now in God is never changing. And in order to discover your identity, it has got to be based on something that never changes, something that is a solid rock. Everything else that we've read, that the world defines as our identity, changes. See, here's the thing. God has never changed. Throughout Scripture, throughout time, throughout the way people have talked, the Christians have talked about God from as far back as you can trace time. And no matter through any of the attacks, from as far back as history goes, through the Egyptians and their attack against God, and the Romans and their attack against God, and even now in modern society with the liberalism and the atheists and non-believers who attack Christians and attack against God, God has never changed. He has never changed. He has stayed the same. You can't say that about other religions. You can't say that about other deities that get worshipped. God has never changed. Now, finding your identity and placing the foundation of your identity in something or someone that doesn't ever change that brings us so much more stability in our lives and so much more joy in our lives. If any of this has piqued any kind of interest to learn more, to study more, or to grow more, I want to encourage you to be lookout for the next episode, where I had the opportunity to interview a good friend of mine who's an author, who works a lot with charities. He's married. He's been divorced. His life has got an interesting story to it. And we had a really interesting, good and interesting conversation about finding your identity and what does that mean in today's society, and what does that mean to us as Christians and as men. So I want to encourage you to listen for that episode. It'll be coming out a couple of weeks after this one gets broadcasted. So I thank you for joining me on this journey. It has been an interesting one. It has been one that has caused me to really have to continually reflect on my own life. And I really appreciate you joining me throughout this journey. And I want to encourage you to stay tuned, keep listening, keep coming back, because we will be coming into other series and talking about the different things that I have gone through in my growth of coming back to the man that God desires me to be, and being the best man that I can be for my children, for my community, my wife whenever I meet her and we join together. This is my journey. These are my cigar reflections, and I hope to see you again.
Gripped, an inspiring story of a believer's challenge-filled journey of finding restoration. It is a story to equip and empower you to find the same. As you dive into this adventure story, you will see and feel all of the gripping things behind the veil. And as you do, leave your fear far behind, my friend, for victory is ahead. Pick up your copy of Gripped anywhere books are sold. This has been a production of K2 Media.